Estonia accused Russia of violating its airspace on Friday, saying 3 Russian military aircraft flew without clearance over its sovereign territory in what officials described as a brazen and deliberate provocation. The incident, the latest in a string of confrontations between Moscow and NATO allies along Europe's eastern flank, has heightened concerns about regional security and raised fresh calls for stronger deterrence measures. According to the Estonian Ministry of Defense, the 3 aircraft, identified as Sukhoi Su-35 fighter jets, entered Estonian airspace near the island of Hiiumaa in the Baltic Sea shortly after noon local time. The jets reportedly remained in Estonian skies for less than a minute but failed to file a flight plan, ignored radio contact from air traffic controllers, and flew with transponders switched off, all of which are considered violations of international aviation norms. Estonia's foreign ministry said the Russian ambassador in Tallinn has been summoned and will be handed a formal diplomatic protest. This is a clear and unacceptable violation of Estonia's sovereignty, the ministry said in a statement. Such brazen actions are not accidents. They are intended to test our resolve and to intimidate both Estonia and NATO. NATO scrambles fighters. NATO's Combined Air Operations Center in Weidum, Germany, confirmed that Allied aircraft were scrambled from the Almari Air Base in Estonia and from a base in Lithuania to respond to the incursion. The alliance did not specify the nationality of the jets deployed, but said the intercept was conducted in line with established NATO air policing procedures. The Baltic states of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania have no fighter jets of their own and rely on NATO allies to patrol their skies under a mission established in 2004 when the countries joined the alliance. Airspace violations by Russian aircraft have become a near-constant feature of the mission, but officials in Tallinn said Friday's incident stood out for its scale and brazenness. This was not a navigational mistake, said Estonian Defense Minister Hanno Pevkur. It was a deliberate probe. Russia knows exactly where our borders are, and it chose to cross them. Estonia will not tolerate such actions, and we expect a strong response from NATO and the EU. Part of a wider pattern. Military analysts noted that the incident comes amid rising tensions in the Baltic region, where NATO has significantly increased its presence since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Thousands of additional Allied troops, along with tanks, artillery, and advanced air defenses, have been stationed in Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania as part of what NATO calls its enhanced forward presence. Russia, in turn, has ramped up military flights over the Baltic Sea, often operating with transponders off and ignoring air traffic control. Earlier this year, a Russian Su-27 fighter jet reportedly came within meters of a Polish reconnaissance aircraft over the Baltic, forcing evasive action. Russia is signaling that it can harass NATO members at will, but it also wants to test NATO's readiness and cohesion, said Kristi Rake, director of the Estonian Foreign Policy Institute. These incursions are not about gaining territory. They're about psychological pressure and demonstrating that Russia is not deterred. EU and NATO reactions. The European Union quickly backed Estonia, with EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell calling the airspace violation unacceptable and reckless. NATO's Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg also issued a statement, reaffirming that NATO stands firm in defending every inch of Allied territory and warning Moscow against further provocations. The U.S. Embassy in Tallinn condemned the incident, describing it as a dangerous and irresponsible act that undermines regional stability. Washington has roughly 1,000 troops stationed in Estonia, including elements of an Army infantry battalion and rotational units operating HIMARS rocket systems. Moscow silent. As of late Friday, the Russian Ministry of Defense had not commented on the Estonian allegations. In past cases, Moscow has denied airspace violations, often insisting that its military aircraft were operating in strict compliance with international law. Russian officials have also accused NATO of escalating tensions by expanding military deployments in the Baltic region. A growing flashpoint. The Baltic Sea has increasingly become a flashpoint between Russia and NATO. In addition to frequent airspace violations, Western officials have accused Russia of engaging in undersea sabotage, including the suspected attacks on the Nord Stream gas pipelines in 2022. More recently, Finland and Sweden, once staunchly neutral, joined or applied to join NATO largely because of growing fears of Russian aggression. For Estonia, a country of just 1.3 million people bordering Russia, Friday's incident served as another reminder of its vulnerability. Officials there emphasized that while the jets were in Estonian skies only briefly, the symbolic significance was profound. Every violation of our borders, no matter how short, is an attack on the rules-based order, said President Alar Karis. We are not intimidated, and we will continue to work with our allies to ensure the security of Estonia and the entire region. With tensions high and trust between Moscow and the West at a historic low, analysts warn that even brief and seemingly minor incidents, such as Friday's incursion, could carry serious risks of miscalculation. The danger, said Rake, is not that Russia wants war with NATO right now, but that in testing the limits, an accident or overreaction could trigger a crisis no one wants.